Great morning to you out there. It's good to have you join us this wonderful Saturday, the February the 3rd, on the Break It On Papers review. I hope you are already up. And of course, there's going to be by elections in some states, inclusive or your state. And we're hoping that there will be peace, orderliness as some of these by elections hold in some of the states which are your too. It's part of. We're hoping a smooth sale process. But then this is the Break It On Papers review, and my name is Gbolabo, famous call. And of course, we look at some of the front pages, some of the national dailies, and their front pages this morning to see what is making the headlines. And I have the Cable NG, the Punch newspaper, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Daily Trusts, and of course, Daily Post, and a host of others. But I'll start off this morning with the Cable NG. We have the story. It says Naira appreciates to 1,435 naira per dollar at official market. Abuja bakers hike bread price, lament rising cost of production. Nigeria defeat Angola to reach AFCON semi-final. CBN stops daily CRR debits from banks' deposits. Customs adjusts forex rate for collection of duties from 951 naira per dollar to 1,356 naira per dollar. Tinubu gives Super Eagles pep talk ahead of Angola clash. And more on the football soccer here. We have AFCON. Nwabali start as Osimhen Lukman lead Eagles attack against Angola. Of course, that has been overtaken by event. The match has been done, and indeed has been in the dawn. And of course, the Super Eagles are indeed flying. We have more headlines here. PDP appoints Ajishafe Toyose as Southwest National Vice Chairman. By elections, DSS cautions political parties against instigating violence. Lawyers ask police to end enforcement of vehicle information certificate. Dumping 12,000 immigrants in Nigeria won't escalate insecurity. Akpabio tells Germany dumping 12,000 immigrants in Nigeria would escalate insecurity. Akpabio tells Germany. And more story here still on the Cable NG. We have this one. Federal government AFDB to roll out $617 million to support digital creative enterprises. And of course, we'll take one more before delving into another paper entirely this morning. This is still the Break It On Papers review. And of course, we're taking a review of some of the headlines in our national dailies. Oil marketers refusing requests to review freight rates, says NATO. And that's the much we can take with the Cable NG this morning. All right, we go over to the Punch newspaper. We also take some headlines here. Ayedatiwa appoints Akeredolu's men orders as commissioners, advisors. Doctor nurses carelessness caused damage to my skin. That's according to a victim. Why government sealed Oyo Church? Coming from the Commissioner of Environment here in Oyo State. Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso withdrawal exposes ECOWAS failure to unite West Africa. Equity People's kidnappers insist on 15 million naira parent source for funds. And of course, the big story here says Operation Rescue Naira. Federal government considers converting $30 billion domiciliary deposits to Naira. All right, more stories here on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. How killers planned Kwara Oba's murder in beer parlor. Wow, how killers planned Kwara Oba's murder in beer parlor. Why I don't like kissing in movies. Laide Bakari, and of course, talking about entertainment here. More here says why bandits are killing monarchs cheaply that are coming from traditionalists. Super Eagles fly over Angola to AFCON semi-finals with Lukman's lone strike. First salary meant for church leaders, Pastor Ugodalo. More here, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper. OAT will refund screening fees to sacked workers, and that's according to CMD. That's OAU, that's OAT. We also have more here. This says widows protest flour price hike in Kano. 13 arrested over Ekiti monarchs killing, people's abduction. And more here says 3 nabbed for 81 million naira grain fraud in Yobe. Boba's father inspect singer's corpse months after exhumation. And of course, we take one more. Police arrest man with fake currency in Lagos. The last one here says, why government sued Oyo Church commissioner. And of course, this is coming from the Metro Plus page of the Punch newspaper this morning. All right, before we go in an analysis this morning, we'll still take some headlines here on the front pages of some of the papers in Nigeria, some of the national dailies. We're still looking at some of the headlines there. All right, I'll move to another paper very shortly. Okay, in case you're just joining us, this is the Break It On Papers review here on 32FM 94.9, and of course, is your humor-centric station here. And it's 11 minutes past the hour 6. It's a lot very early this morning. We'll move quickly to the Vanguard newspaper and also take some headlines here. Rerun by-elections tension as parties candidate battle for 57 legislative seats. We have more insecurity, stop terrorism or resign. Nigerians tell federal government. Terrorism, kidnapping, influential northern senator under watch. All the latest news, Imo Siko at last for mother and child in Okuku. More says rerun by elections. All right, taking that earlier. Okay, we also have more here. Bride, 30 other women kidnapped in Katsina. More stories here. Banditry in Zamfara. Governor Lawan launches community protection guards to fight against terrorism. Musawa rolls out $617 million IDICE fund. OT hints of plans to rid Aba of flooding in 18 months. Hunger in the land. Mother of 9 hacks women to death over stolen plantain. Okay, let's look at all the latest news here, still on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, talking about politics. That says Ayedatiwa nominates Ajulo, 5 orders as commissioners. And we have this one, by election, by disqualification, deliberate political PDP candidate Ono. All right, this is some of the stories making the headline here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. We always look at other papers very quickly. And this is the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. This is saying illegal mining deny Nigeria 91% of sector revenue. That's according to ECOWAS speaker. Cancer rates to increase to 77% by 2050, coming from the United Nations. CBN sets $1 million as capital requirement for international money transfer operators. Crude oil sales take over by CBN and legal. That appears to be coming from the former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar. And auction excess dollars in private domiciliary accounts, Fayoshe's brother tells Tinubu. And the story is saying Isaac Fayoshe, brother to former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayoshe, has advised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to auction dollars. Okay, that's a bit of the details there. We also look at more headlines here on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper front page. Yobe East senatorial by-election, police ban vehicular movement. Abuja gets new police commissioner. IMSU Don dismisses purported protest against Imo monarch. Abuja, bandits demand 2 motorcycles after 8.5 million naira ransom. All of that are some of the headlines here on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper before calling it an analysis, before going into analysis proper this morning. On the front page of the Guardian, we have this one. I write about feminism because the society I was raised in was glaringly patriarchal, and this is coming from award-winning novelist, short story writer, playwright, and screenwriter Sefi Otta, is well known in the literary and academic space. More here says oil theft group backs naval chief on seizure of MT Praiser, MT Carl orders rerun by elections. DSS police pledge adequate security. What cancer day expert tax government on free mammogram program for early detection. More here says court sustains IGP's terrorism charges against 5 Rivers Assembly attack suspect. Hoodlums kill police officer, injure another in a Boeing. 2-bag jail terms for vandalizing AKEDC equipment in Apapa. Alleged 109 billion naira fraud. EFCC deceived me. Ex AGF alleges. And still on the Guardian, we're looking at more headlines. We have this one: Angola thorn in the flesh, and that's with a question mark. I can beat my chest that AFN president has nothing to hide. Coming from Pobeni, Zubike Bolos win Okbobo marathon. And all of that are coming from the Guardian newspaper this morning. Let's also take a look at the This Day newspaper and also see some of the headlines there on the front page of the This Day newspaper up for us this morning. All right, this is taking a little bit before coming up. We have this on the front page of the This Day newspaper. This is talking about sport. Arsenal, Liverpool stake title credentials at Emirates. Edo APC state government trade words over 9 billion naira fresh loan approval. Mining development, Nigeria, US explore areas of strategic partnership. Or your government suspends monarch in Ibadan. Burning of Rivers Assembly complex, court dismisses application challenging competence of charge. And we have this one: Kiev Global leasing opens new corporate offices in Port Harcourt. NUPR ongoing IOC's asset divestment to local firms not yet complete, undergoing due diligence. We have this one: Saraki orders tax security agencies to fish out killers of monarch in Kwara. And 21st Century Partners US unveils America Corner in Lekki. All of that appears to be making the rounds here on the front page of the This Day newspaper. And of course, Austin Iduma is standing by for us this morning to give us some analysis to the headlines you're having this morning on the front pages of the paper. All right, let's take this one from the Daily Trust, and we have Austin joining us virtually to do the analysis with us. Bearing the dilemma of honesty in marriage, and that appears to be the leading story here on the front page of the Daily Trust. Afghan Lukman Nwabali order standout stars to win over Angola. We have more. Day British boxer stunned dam-based spectators in Katsina. We need help to live our university dreams. Visually impaired leaders speak out. And of course, we have this one: by elections, 4.6 million go to polls in 26 states. ATLDAs today. And before we leave the Daily Trust, let's take one more. And of course, we'll look at the political side. Cost of governance must be addressed. Okay, cost of governance must be addressed. Building collapse and antecedent. All of that are some of the headlines we're having here on the front page of the Daily Trust. We have Austin Ojimu joining us right about now. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning, Gbolabo.
Good morning. It's great to have you join us again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. There've been a lot happening, but the issue of kidnapping spree, it's something that has remained mind-boggling, and virtually all the papers are carrying that. And we have some of the top news here. One of them coming from the front page of the Punch newspaper says, how killers planned Kwara Oba's mother in beer parlor. Imagine what is going on in Nigeria. People sit to plan people's deaths. And now going to a public space to discuss this, Austin, have we gone to a level where people's life no longer have premium? And, you know, inhumanity to human has become like something we've been seeing within our society of recent. People don't care, and they do all sorts in order for them to survive, even if it takes taking your own brother's life. People do all sorts. What do we make out of this latest development of having a monarch being planned and his life being hacked out, and of course hacked to that here.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate that we have a surge in insecurity across the country. There is palpable tension of security escalation across the country. I do not think there's any part of the country that is currently spared as far as the issue of insecurity, kidnapping for ransom, and maiming and killing of innocent citizens is concerned. My major grasp is what happened to intelligence gathering when we have a situation where attack will be properly planned and well coordinated and strategically carried out. And at the end of the day, we have reports suggesting that they actually planned this attack in a particular location. Then what happened to intelligence? Because often time we discover that as security operative, they are always reactionary to some of these issues that we talk about. How come we are not able to stop some of this attack? How come we are not able to nip it in the bud? Of course, this just happened that it happened in the beer parlor. There are other attacks here and there. Most of them are coordinated attack. What happened to NIM SIM registration linkage? How were they able to make their call? At times, it looks as if the more you look, the less you see, as far as security and some other national matters are concerned in our country. Because you find out that these kidnappers, these bandits, these terrorists, they will take people to custody, they will use their own phone to call, negotiate, and collect ransom. And yet, we are not able to track them. We are not able to arrest them.
But what does that
And
tell us,
yet, we have,
Austin? Would we now say there is some sort of compromise when it comes to Intel here? If you have all of
of
this in
course,
place and still
there,
this is still happening.
there is high level of compromise. You can't overrule that. There is high level of compromise. There is insider connivance among these security operatives that we have in Nigeria. Some people are sympathetic to the cause of these individuals, bad element within our society. So therefore, we appeal to those in authority, especially the military, that the issue of coordinated efforts, the issue of intelligence gathering, all security operatives must work together. They must form synergy, also look for a way to change their modus operandi because as far as I'm concerned for insecurity, nothing majorly has changed from what it used to be and what it is now. Of course, the approach could differ because we have new set of service chiefs, but there must also be a timeline for them. The president must call them to order. They must lead from the front. We are tired of condolences. Look at the traditional stool, for example. Those days when we were growing up, traditional rulers are just like semi-god. But today we have a situation where terrorists, where kidnappers will enter the king's palace, adopt the king in a commando style. Some of them will even be killed in a gruesome manner. So all of this should stop because the truth of the matter is that when there is a serious assault on the life of traditional ruler, such as we have currently witnessed within the couple of days that just passed, you discover that it's just like removing the head, going to a community and killing the traditional ruler in that community, which means the community is finished. That is what it means. How come? By my own knowledge, no matter how low class the traditional ruler is, of course, he should be entitled to a kind of security. So, how come all of these are happening? I think the government really need to sit up. Let's checkmate security operatives in the country and be able to nip some of this crime in the bud. It becomes very sad when attacks such as this happen, and at the end of the day, we merely just react to it.
Hmm.
Why have we not been hearing that, oh, such so and so attack ought to have taken place, but the effort of the security operative neutralizes such an attack? So, which means that there's more to it than meets the eye. All we are asking for is that the government must be proactive. The government must take some steps ahead of this criminal element in our society because the escalating insecurity in the country is assuming a dangerous dimension. And until and unless we are able to tackle insecurity substantially, the issue of foreign direct investment, the issue of development in the country will just be like a mirage.
All right, Austin, let's look at this plans by the federal government to strengthen the Naira. And it appears that the federal government is getting very desperate. Operation Rescue Naira, federal government considers converting $30 billion domiciliary deposits to Naira. Now, where is the financial confidentiality? Because people have those monies in their account under a confidential financial information means. For instance, people had kept that in the trust that their accounting officer would not expose some of these details to the public. But now the federal government is putting and poking its eyes, saying that these monies, if they're in foreign currencies, they are going to be turned into Naira. Is it not too much of a desperate move for the government to get things right? Because we do remember the unification of the exchange rates, which many people came out to say that won't work, but the government didn't listen. Now, going this route, will it help the Naira strengthened when it put more people into more jeopardy by exposing them unnecessary, like getting information? Now you had this dollar account, and now the government is saying that everything inside must be turned into Naira. What exactly is the government trying to get at?
Gbolabo, do you know that when you get to South Africa, you can't use dollar? It's more or less like a criminal offense
Hmm.
if you attempt to use US dollar in South Africa.
But is it
So what
criminalized
is
here
wrong
in
with
Nigeria? Do we have that law
what
in Nigeria?
I'm coming? I'm
Okay.
coming. There's no law in Nigeria. A lot of our people, especially the elites, has bastardized the issue of domiciliary accounts and foreign currency. Nigeria currency is naira for crying out loud. If you want to store naira, go to America. If you want to store dollar, go to America. Nigeria is about the only country across the world where we empower BDC like normal business. You can recall in the 80s, some those days when we were still very young, the issue of BDC, Bureau de Change, changing of dollar, is an under the table transaction. If you can recall, that is why they call it black market, which means we are not supposed to display it openly. But today in Nigeria, dollar is almost taking preeminence. You see people want to spray money in the party, they will spray dollar. You see husband and wife doing a food challenge on the social media, they will bet with dollar. You see these people want to give their cronies money, they will spray dollar. Politicians want to spend money, they will spend dollar. Have you not wondered that this increment in rate of naira to dollar is always most of the time at the beginning and towards the end of the month when state governors collect allocation? Have you wondered why? Because the money that they want to steal in billions, they will convert it to naira so that they will be able to retain it. So whatever move the government want to move, let the government salvage the economy. Unification of the exchange rate is not a bad idea. What we have had in the past is that we have multiple exchange rates. Exchange rate for those that are going for pilgrimage, exchange rate for those that are in government, exchange rate for those that are in CBN, exchange rate for anybody that knows anybody in government. But when this government came on board, they said, no, we are not going to operate multiple exchange rates. We must unify the exchange
But
rate.
then,
But
since
the
you
truth of
talked
the matter
about
is
this,
that
sorry,
our
Austin, for
people have
butting in.
abused the dollar. Our
Yeah,
people have abused the dollar.
sorry that I have to butt in, Austin, but we do remember that some economists are saying that there were obligations by the government to pay up some of the dollars that they are owing some of these agencies, talking about aviation and other critical sector of the economy, which they've not paid them. And some of them went to the parallel market to get monies, to get some of these foreign currencies. And now these obligations by the federal government to pay up these agencies of government, their monies also expose them to go into the parallel market than going into the official market to get dollars. Isn't that a case that the Tinubu government should have concentrated on? Those that have been owed over time, they should be paid off and discouraged from going to the parallel market instead of going into people's personal account to say you're changing whatever currency they're having into naira.
Gbolabo, this government substantially have been able to offset the debts the federal government of Nigeria is owing international aviation operator, international airline operators. Go and check the record. As
Hmm.
at last week, the federal government has offset close to 90%. Before now, under the Buhari administration, the global obligation to international airline operators was over 2.2 billion US dollar. Out of that 2.2 billion US dollar across the world, Nigerian government alone is owing over 800 million US dollar. The truth of the matter is that why are we afraid? Let government, anybody that has no business to do with dollar have no power to retain dollar in their account, except you have foreign inflow. Maybe you do international business and you receive dollar. Anybody, I've said this times without number. Even if you are traveling abroad, you must not get physical cash, physical dollar. You must not get it. Just 3 days ago, the CBN discovered that Nigerian commercial banks, they are warehousing over 5 billion US dollar in their various vaults across the country, where those who want to do business in dollar, those who want to pay medical bill, those who want to pay school fees, those who want to travel out of the country, they are currently stranded. What type of a people are we? So why are we afraid? Bolabo, do you have dollar? Do you have a domiciliary account? Do you have dollars in your account? What are you doing with the dollars? Is Nigeria USA? If you want to store dollar, if you want to spend dollar, go to the United States of America.
But the banks
That is what we
allowed
are
it. The
talking about.
banks opened dollar accounts. Even when you
That
want
is
to
what we
receive
want to
a
do. Let the
dollar, they
government
tell you
with
to
the
open
big
an
stick.
account for that.
Let the government through the CBN. I have a domiciliary account, for example.
Hmm.
Let the government through the CBN with the big stick. Most of the top officials of our bank, the major business they do is dollar business. Dollar business. Have you not wondered, Gbolabo, if you need dollar to travel out of the country tomorrow, you will not get dollar in the bank. And this dollar is in Sabo, is with the Aboki. How do they get to the Aboki?
Hmm.
That's the issue that we are talking about. So the federal government must look for a way. See, a time should come where some laws will have to be suspended. You are talking about privacy of individual and what have you, at the detriment of the economy. All of us are shouting the name of the president. All of us are saying that the economy is bad. And yet some people who do not have business to do with dollar, they are stashing dollar in their account. They are stashing dollar in their home. I've said it before. Nobody should be paid across the counter physical cash in terms of dollar. If you are traveling out, let them load your card for you. You come back, let them convert it to naira automatically. Somebody is sending money from outside the country to you, you shouldn't be paid dollar across the counter. Can you be paid naira in US? Who will do that to you?
Hmm.
Who will do that for you? So it is high time we salvage our economy. Most of the time, we think as if we don't know how we got to this level that we are. We are having dollar crisis in the country. A lot of people they are having crisis, and yet our commercial bank is warehousing over 5 billion US dollar. Who does that? How do you now expect our economy to grow? Dollar that the manufacturers they can't get to import raw material into the country to contribute to the real GDP of the country, and we have single individual politicians. I just gave you an instance the other time that why is it that it is always towards before and shortly after allocation is distributed that you find a situation where dollar will skyrocket. Why? Because politicians they steal naira, they convert it to dollar so that they will be able to hold them. I think the federal government need to look at that. Apart from this issue of domiciliary account, let us also monitor those governors, these politicians that have now metamorphosed into stealing in dollars. They will steal naira, they will convert it to dollar. It's as bad as that. So if you don't have any skeleton to hide, you are not supposed to be afraid. So whatever economic measure, whatever policy measure that the federal government want to deploy, let them deploy it to strengthen the naira. I understand that we also need to produce so that our naira can be strengthened. But the dollar naira crisis we have in Nigeria today is purely artificial and they are elitist in nature. pure and simple.
All right, Austin, let's look at this one too. The Association of Master Bakers and Caterers of Nigeria, Abuja chapter says they will increase the price of bread. I don't know what Nigerians will eat next because that appears to be one staple food apart from gari that many Nigerians are not eating. If this is also having the price skyrocket, what exactly will happen to us? Because many people
Yeah,
have said that the Tinubu Lagos policy isn't well replicated in the whole of Nigeria. Are we looking at failure here on the part of the government?
Gbolabo, there is failure on the part of government. But before we talk about the failure, we must not forget how we got to this level. That is what we are talking about the other time. The federal government is saying that while having over 30 billion US dollar in individual and corporate account across the country, you were quoting sections of the law, fundamental human rights, right to privacy. Now it is interwoven, it is directly connected because raw material for the production of bread and other associated items have skyrocketed. Look at the price of a bag of flour, for example. Look at the price of a bag of sugar, for example, and margarine and every other thing that is into the production of bread. All of these are as a result of high and increasing cost of production. The cost of production is skyrocketing. Bakers can no longer cook. Bakers are only coming out at this particular point in time. So many critical sectors of our economy are folding down as a result of this issue that we talk about. But most of the time, we talk about the president, we cast aspersion on the president. Meanwhile, a lot of people bastardize the process. They took dollar when they don't have business to do with dollar. So these are issues that we really have to deal with. Bread is like a staple food in an average Nigerian home today. So it's going to be a very big issue for us because we can't also blame them. A lot of these bakers have run out of business. Some of them that are still in business, they have not been able to stabilize themselves because we are having cost of production, what we call cost pool inflation, whereby we have increase in the cost of production, not just a one-off increase. We have persistent increase. If you are a woman, Gbolabo, go to the market, the things you bought last week Saturday, go again this Saturday, go and buy them. The price will have changed.
Hmm.
You see a lot of people. That is what we are talking about. If you don't have any business to do in dollar, you have no business keeping dollars in your account.
So,
Keeping them for what?
Austin, sorry. So, dollars is really the major problem why we're having this
It's a major problem. It's a
chronic
major problem. Some of
inflation
these people
and the
cannot source
level of
for forest
poverty.
to import this raw material.
Okay.
Some of them cannot source for forest to import this raw material.
Okay.
Imagine going to Sabo to buy dollar at 1,400. How are you going to make profit as a manufacturer? How are you going to make profit? And as a manufacturer, it is what you buy that you will sell, which means that the cost and the rate of inflation will be spread across to the final consumer. And it is poor people that eat bread, though, Gbolabo. Poor people eat bread more. Poor people eat bread more. I know that rich people also eat bread, but it is common among the low and the middle class. It is common among the low and the middle class. So this is what we are talking about. Bakers are only coming out. Bakers are just a fragment of the production sector of the country. We have a lot of other sector. The other time it was a Poultry Association of Nigeria that came out and said they are running out of business. Inflation is killing them. The forest market, the exchange rate is killing them. But some of us, if we want to talk about government, we practically forgot how we got to this level.
All right, Austin, talking about River State and, of course, terrorism charges, I don't know, this energy being channeled by the IGP, I don't know, is it supposed to be against these political figures coming from River State? Because we do know that terrorism is a major crime in Nigeria. The Boko Haram factor, the SWAP, has been there age long, and many individuals have been saying, many experts, security experts, have been looking for means and ways that this will end as soon as possible. But now you could see how swift the Inspector General of Police acted on the Rivers Assembly attack suspect, and it says the court sustains IGP's terrorism charges against 5 Rivers Assembly attack suspects. Now, would we call this terrorism? We've been having a number of hits and, of course, crises across the length and breadth of Nigeria in terms of instances of felony by some individuals. Now, would we see that outrightly this is terrorism? What happened in Beaver State the last time?
Well, that was a case instituted by the police against about 5 individuals who had to raise down the State House of Assembly. The case is still in court. It is not the IGP that will determine whether it is terrorism or not. They can only press for terrorism charges. It is the courts that define what constitutes an act of terrorism at the long run. So I think it makes a whole lot of sense for us to wait for the court process, the judicial process to be exhausted as far as this case is concerned. But the truth of the matter is that those who deliberately go to the House of Assembly to set it ablaze should be punished under our law if we know what we are doing, irrespective of the political party that they belong to. Because that facility belonged to the state, it was raised down by some political element, and the state government will have to use taxpayers' money to reconstruct that particular building. So that's the truth of the matter. Let's see how it goes as far as the law is concerned. I also look at the issue of preferences as far as the case is concerned. But the truth of the matter is that the reason why evil continue to thrive in Nigeria is that perpetrators always go unpunished. People feel that they can do some things and get away with it. It has happened in Rivers State. We don't know the next state. The other time it happened in Edo State, where the whole roof was removed under the guise of renovation. But the case of River, they had to take a step further by burning the premises just to score some cheap political points. But like I said earlier, let the court determine whether some of these acts constitute terrorism or not.
All right, Austin, Super Eagles made us proud yesterday by getting to the semi final. Now, we could see the momentum coming from Nigeria. Nigeria used the state apparatus to ensure that they were there, and we saw how unanimous the government, starting from President Tinubu to the National Assembly members, like as if nothing is happening in Nigeria, because obviously, as it stands, the roof is burning. And of course, some people will say we are suffering and smiling. Do we need that kind of momentum coming from our legislators using state apparatus to go to watch this particular match in Abidjan? Do we need that excess here? We know that this is a good thing. They've done us proud. Do we need them to spend this kind of resources to be at Abidjan in Ivory Coast?
Well, I seriously frown at that. I don't think it makes sense to use state resources to travel down. But don't forget, the only thing that brings us together as a people in the country today is sports. Whether you are Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, sports brings us together.
Should it be
That's the truth of the
politicized?
matter.
Is it not being
It,
politicized as you see?
it shouldn't be politicized. One thing with this game is that an average Nigeria wants Nigeria to qualify for semi-final.
Hmm.
And that has happened. An average Nigeria. Go and check. Even sport can bring two enemy together. That is it. Sport is the only sector in Nigeria that politicians have not been able to politicize. That's sports. So it has a way of bringing us together. No matter how much you hate the people, no matter how much you hate the government, deep down in the heart of an average Nigeria, they want our national team to do well. You can see the way we are praising them, qualifying for a semi-final. I'm very optimistic that at the end of the day, they will bring the cup back home. So it's the spirit of sportsmanship, and it's a welcome development. But
How?
for those who have
Okay.
chosen to use state resources to go, as far as I'm concerned, that is uncalled for. We can't say that because there is kidnapping, there is Boko Haram, economy is biting hard, and we will not drum support for our super ego. It is not possible. We will still have to support them.
Hmm. All right, we'll take this break. When we do come back, we'll be taking more analysis and also take some of your comments in our socials. And of course, open the phone lines. Do stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, torn uniforms, and dirty shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Play with Betano at Africa's biggest football tournament and win with amazing offers. Use the promo code BETAFCON and get ₦1,000 free bet. Enjoy a 2 goals ahead offer, outright promotions and missions. Join now and get a welcome bonus of up to ₦200,000. Betano.ng. The game starts now. Only for 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
For the top 10 banging songs across Nigeria,
top 10 super songs across Africa,
the Top 10 Countdown is your show.
Saturdays 12 to 1 p.m. with Denike and King Kenny.
Fọkàn mi jọ ọkùnrin mẹ́ta lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ kò sọkọ mọ́ alálùbáríkà ọkọ táwọn sì mí ń wá tí wọ́n ń ṣùrùbò ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò lè débẹ̀ láéláé.
Ìyàwó mi tí ò lápọn oníwà tútù bí àdàbà àpọ́nbépo rẹ̀ mi òrèǹté mi.
Ìfẹ́ dùn ó lárinrin. Bí ìfẹ́ bá ṣe ń dàgbà sí láàrin olólùfẹ́ méjì, òun náà ni adùn rẹ̀ máa ń jáde sí. Ìkànnì ìfẹ́yẹn 32 FM 94.9 ló ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àǹfààní bàǹtàbàǹtà fún àwọn olólùfẹ́ alákànṣe àrà ọ̀tọ̀ pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ 11th House Hotel and Suites, Henry Rehoboth Global Ventures, Vine Gifts àti Sweet Saints. Tó àpèjẹ olólùfẹ́ yìí, òní ò jẹ́ mọ́nìgbàgbé fáwọn olólùfẹ́ lọ́jọ́ àyájọ́ olólùfẹ́ níbi tí ẹ ti láǹfààní sóúnjẹ àjẹyìrà, orin kíkọ, ijó jíjó, ìlù lílù, eré ayò, ẹ̀rín àríntàkìtì àti onírúurú àwọn nǹkan ìgbádùn lọ́jọ́ tàwí yìí pẹ̀lú $20,000 péré $20,000 per couple lọ́jọ́ 14 oṣù kejì ọdún 2024 nílé ìtura 11th House Hotel and Suites number 23 Baálẹ̀ Akíntayọ̀ Street, Jericho GRA, Ìbàdàn, Ọ̀yọ́ State. Ó ṣàyẹ̀yìn tá a bá pe nǹkan ní premium ó túmọ̀ sí pé èèyàn péréte là ń retí. Torí ìdí èyí tètè wá gba tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì rẹ̀ ní Àjàkẹ́rin Cocoa House, Dùgbẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Fún àlàyé kíkún ẹ pè Arámidé sórí 0704-426-3290 oyin 0813-125-1915. Àǹfààní ńlá rèé fún àwa olólùfẹ́ láti gbádùn àyájọ́ olólùfẹ́ yìí lára ọ̀tọ̀.
Bébí wojú mi ojú mà lọ́rọ̀ wà. Ẹlọ́mọ túmọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí.
Lówe ọ̀nà ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ àti ẹwà èdè Yorùbá tó ṣeyebíye ni òwe Yorùbá jẹ́. Ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn òwe yìí ni ojúlówó ìtumọ̀ àti orírun wọn ti dohùn gbàgbé. Òwe nìkan kọ́ o, ọ̀kẹ́ àìmọ̀ yóò kọ Yorùbá làwọn tó ń jẹ ní òmò túmọ̀ rẹ̀ dépò ìpìlẹ̀ orírun àbí n tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú jìdún ọkọ wọn gan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́lòmí ò máa pètọ́ ọkọ rẹ̀. Ìdí rẹ̀ tí rédíò yín 32 FM 94.9 fi ṣàgbékalẹ̀ ètò lówe láti máa rán wa létí àwọn tó ti nù wá nínú èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá. Àtúnṣe àwọn àṣìlò èdè, àṣàmọ̀rọ̀, orúkọ àti òwe kò ní gbẹ̀yìn lórí ètò àgbà ló tòrò lọ ọba ọdẹ ló tó yín erin fọn. Ààrẹ àfìwàsọ́nà ni ó máa tukọ̀ ètò lówe pẹ̀lú àwọn àgbà rere tí ò ní tán lórílẹ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́bọ̀ Thursday láago 1 sí 2. Ẹ parí òwe yìí kí n gbọ́ná lówe làálùlù. Ẹnìkan ní ògìdìgbò, ẹnìkan ní àgídìgbò, ọ̀gá ọ̀tà owó aláàrú àpé ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀yin àgbà alámọ̀tún èdè àti òwe Yorùbá. Ìpàdé ó dọjọ́bọ̀ Thursday ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí lórí ètò lówe láago 1 sí 2. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àjọgbọ́n ká lè gbà pé adùn èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá ó gbé síbẹ̀.
Ẹ yọjú ẹ̀ kó yé wa.
Join Olorun Toba Yusuf and the panelists tomorrow on the podium for a most intriguing conversation and in-depth analysis of issues. As a host, Mr. Femi Additional, the Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. Tune in. This episode will be explosive. Join us on the podium, 32 FM 94.9 this Saturday, February the 3rd at 9 a.m.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Break It On Papers Review here on 32 FM 94.9. And of course, I will open the phone lines right about now to take some of your comment. And also, we are live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Remember, 32 FM 949 in Badon. In case you want to drop your comment, you can quickly jump on that on Facebook or YouTube to drop some of your comment. And of course, the numbers for you to call in are 070-55000 949 or 08097,949. For international audience, plus 234 949. And Austin Iduma is still very much with us this morning, virtually doing the analysis. Austin, I want us to go a little bit to Ekiti State right about now. It's so alarming, 15 million naira. That's what some kidnappers are demanding from parents, and some of them are running helter-skelter to ensure that they get 15 million naira in this economy to pay people for doing nothing, for kidnapping their loved ones. But the most interesting thing is that the police has come out to say that it is a criminal offense if you pay this ransom. I don't know, you have your loved ones in captivity, and of course they're demanding that you pay a certain amount of money, and the police is saying if you pay, you are also committing a criminal offense. How do we handle this, Austin?
Police is just using that as a face-saving method, a form of damage control. They should be ashamed. There was a time a DPO was kidnapped in Benue, and ransom was paid to release such a DPO. So it depends on who wears the shoe. That's the truth of the matter. It's very much easy for police authority to just come out and say, don't pay ransom. But I pray we will never experience a situation where a loved one will be held in captivity. There is a proverb in Yoruba that for one's child to die is still far better than for one's child to get lost. That's the truth of the matter. The situation is dicey, but the truth of the matter is that we can't continue like this. That's the truth. A situation where our people who have been subjected to abject penury over the years will now have to sneak out their life to pay ransom for their loved ones, not borrowing money to build a house or what have you, but they have to pay ransom for their loved one. And unfortunately, at some point, after ransom is being paid, some of these captives will be killed in the process. So the government should just look for a way to really step in. We can't continue like this. That's the truth of the matter. As for the police, we reserve that in the cooler.
All right.
Like they also say too, it is he that wears the shoe that know where it pitches. Those who pay ransom, it is not because they have so much money. It is not because they love to pay ransom. But condition has pushed them to that level. And all that the police who is supposed to secure life and property should say should be that it's a criminal offense to pay ransom. Why is it not a criminal offense to collect ransom? Why have they not been able to go after those who collect this ransom?
All right, we have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, the numbers again are 070-55000-949 or 080-979,949. For international audience, plus 234 962,949. All right, hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. We're hoping the phone lines are having issues this morning. All right, the numbers again are 070-55000-949.
Gbolabo.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, okay.
This is okay. Thank you. You asked a very right question. Is it legal to also collect ransom? Is it not criminal to also collect? How come they are not going against them? This their face-saving mood is not going to sort anything. And like you rightly said, it is the person that is in the issue that will understand how he thinks. Much as we wouldn't want, we pray nobody should get into it. And I'm also praying because that's the only thing now we do in this part of the world. We pray that their people are there, that God will help them to come out. Because these particular people are not just ready to help us. They have literally left us to ourselves. Good morning. It's okay.
Thank you so much, okay, for that. And the numbers again are 070-550-949 or 080-970-949. And of course, for international audience, you can call this number +234 90 949. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, the numbers again 070-550-949 or 080-970-949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Ade from UI.
All right, please go ahead, Ade.
The bottom line is that this country, what has started happening in this country since about 9 years ago now. All these things started since Buhari came to power. And if you look at the period before Buhari, all these things did not happen. Until these things started happening, and it was happening only in the north. But now, after Buhari now left now, I don't know what happened between Buhari and Tinubu and the other of them. I mean, now, I don't know what really happened to me. Now, this thing now has now spread to the south. And the way this thing is used, it has become a norm in a particular part of the country. We want to make it a norm here in the south. But I pray that, and because of our prayer, spiritually, and our people, I know we will not allow that. We will not allow that. But my advice is that by the time you are arresting criminals, we don't know whatever they are kidnappers, they are wicked people. But they have killed people. Arrest them, don't parade them, kill them immediately. Don't announce to anybody. That's the they will run away. That's the bottom line. That's the best of today.
All right, thank you so much, Ade, for that. And of course, they say no grief for anybody. We hope that doesn't land us into more trouble because that word again has been criminalized by the police. Hello, good morning. Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Austin. My name is Gamari, calling from Apata in Ibadan.
All right.
I want to ask Mr. Austin this question. Once kidnapped and the police said it is a crime for you to pay ransom, should ransom be paid? Should ransom be paid by the people that own, by the families of the kidnap? Should ransom be paid? That's why the father will be claim of the police. And secondly, just last week, they said the police, the AFC boss said a sum of 7 billion naira was being traced to an account of a particular religious organization that they are funding terrorism and banditry in the country. As of today, they have not revealed the name of those religious people that are sponsoring those terrorism. Don't you think the government has hands in this thing? Thank you very much.
All right, Austin, do you want to react to that?
Yes, I think we need the enormous political will to be able to deal with the issue of terrorism in the country. We must declare a state of emergency in our security sector. As for the police, well, we have all concluded that it is he that wears the shoe that know where it pitches. A case happened in Ibadan some time ago where a police DPO, his car was snatched. Well, I think I don't want to go into details so that people will not second guess the officer that I'm talking about. A police DPO, he was robbed at gunpoint and he was having pistol on him. They took his car that he just bought. They took it away. You know, if you take such a matter to the police station, they will open a file for you and interrogate you. What did you do? What exactly happened? But a DPO's car was snatched at gunpoint, and he also has a pistol on him on that particular day. So, apart from the issue of security operatives should stop act of kidnapping. You cannot penalize or punish the people for raising money to save their loved ones.
Okay.
You should go after the criminal, not the innocent ones.
All right. Quickly going through Facebook, we'll take this one from Okedi Baba today. It says, who are those running black market? And that's a question mark. Are they not these bankers or politicians in government cycle? They get foreign exchange cheaply and sell at exorbitant prices at the black market, making huge profit at the detriment of the country. All right, we have more because our time is fast spent. We have Raja Hafiz Abiola. Raja says, good morning, Gbolabo. About the increase in dollar against Naira, the analysts have said it all. Nigeria need to enforce law in using Nigeria currency to transact in Nigeria instead of using foreign currency, most especially dollar. We have Comrade Ayo Eniola Fagbemi says, kidnapping, killings, and hunger cannot be stopped. No hope for now. Nigerians shot themselves to choosing a leader based on tribe and not by fitness. And we'll take this one from Raja Hafiz Abiola. Raja says, yesterday's Super Eagles victory is a lesson to all for all of us. I can see Tinubu, Atiku Obi, and many political gladiators and their supporters congratulate Nigeria's Super Eagles on yesterday's victory in all social medias. It's good to see us united as a country. On that note, we have to call it a wrap on the Break It On People's Review. Any last short Austin as we get out of the studio? All right, our time is fast.
It's a good one. The Super Eagle one. Kudos to them and glory to God.
All right, thank you so much, Austin, for doing this with us. And to all those who sent in their messages, we say a big thank you. Yes, and those who call in, a big thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Gbolabo, Famous Call. Bye for now.
We fill the world with laughter. We are